Welcome to this episode of our podcast series, Citizenship. I'm Ashton.
I'm Johnny.
And I'm Carter.
Today, we will be talking about citizenship and what it means to be a citizen.
We're going to answer the following question: what is a citizen?
And how do you become one? Are you a U.S. citizen?
If you don't know what a citizen is, then listen to what we have to say.
Are you considered a citizen?
Well, the framers didn't originally say who was a citizen in the Constitution, but now because of the amendments, we know that if you are born in the U.S., you are a citizen.
And if you weren't born in the U.S., but both your parents are citizens, then you're a citizen too.
If you are neither of those things, then you can still become a citizen through naturalization.
The 14th Amendment was added in 1868 after the Civil War, and its purpose was to ensure that African Americans could have the U.S. citizenship.
And they also gave citizenship to anyone born in the U.S., so can anyone be a citizen if they want?
Pretty much. The amendments make it so many people who want to be a citizen can be one.
What is naturalization, you might ask?
If people who live outside the U.S. want to become a citizen, they have to go through a process called naturalization. Firstly, you have to be 18. Then the person judging you has to think that you have good character.
You have to speak English and pass an interview. You also have to have lived in the U.S. for at least 5 years unless you're in the military. Then there is an exception. And you have to be there the day of the interview. Then you have to take an oath of allegiance.
The oath of allegiance means that you swear your loyalty to the U.S. and the Constitution. Some people want to become a citizen because it gives them a voice in their government.
Do you guys know anyone who did this?
Well, I did read about a boy named Vandy. He was born in Freetown, Sierra Leone, Africa.
Yeah, and he moved to Revere, Massachusetts, U.S. from a refugee camp, all because of a war in his home in Freetown.
He was a little sad because he had to leave his family, but he loved the plan and some other new things about America.
He liked school and was amazed by how big his house was.
He has now lived in America for 6 years, and many consider going through the naturalization process.
There was also someone I researched about who actually moved to our greater Rochester area.
Who?
It was Miss Doria, right?
Yeah. She had many struggles, such as not being able to see her father often and difficulties in learning for school before she came here.
They were trying to get away or escape from the war and violence in her hometown.
She moved into a house in Rochester and was surprised by how big the TV was, and she loved having her own bed for the first time.
Later, she learned to read English and do new things. Pretty cool.
About 700,000 immigrants go through the naturalization process every year.
91% of people passed the civics interview. We took this 2008 practice test, and it was a little difficult.
I got an 80%. Most of the questions are asking about our country's government and history.
The person we are interviewing today is Gabe. My first question for you, Gabe, is how would you feel to go through the naturalization process?
I would probably feel pretty anxious about that since it takes a long time, and I want to become a U.S. citizen.
Our second question for you is, do you think we should make the naturalization process easier or keep it the same?
I think we should keep it a bit easier. I don't think it should take as long as it does, but I understand why they do. So I think we should make it a bit easier.
Our third question for you is, how do you think that people could be good as citizens?
I think that you could probably vote, definitely, and join political parties for that stuff.
Last question today is, do you take part in your government?
No, I'm too young, but my parents do.
Thank you for your time.
Our resources include Scholastic, Green Card Youth Voices, iCivics, and U.S. Citizenship and Immigrant Service. We also got some help from our teacher, Miss Wagner, and our classmate, Gabe.
And come back next time on our Citizenship podcast.